Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending today. Today's Training Tuesday is on Dynamics GP sales reporting and some tips and tricks around additional inquiries and analysis. On the line with me is Brittany Tripanitsky. Brittany will be our gracious host and sharing much of her knowledge and what she's prepared for today's training session. Brittany, I'll let you take over your introduction, and then I'll give you presenter control.
Perfect. Thanks, Scott. As Scott says, my name is Brittany Pripanisky. I am the support manager here at Endeavour. So if you've ever used our support line, you may have been in contact with me. I've been in Endeavour, almost 6 years now. Next month it'll be 6 years. And in GP, longer than 6 years, although longer than I'd like to admit to. So on that note, I'm going to hop into GP. So I just wanted to talk today about some quick and easy, dirty little tricks that can help you find some more information quickly inside of sales through our inquiries and our sales reports, and a couple different ways that can help us out in sales. Okay? I know sometimes finding information in GP, if you don't know, is hard, but you can find the same information 6 different ways. So sometimes it's a little bit of a navigation to find out which one is your favorite. And I truly do encourage you to find what your favorite is and use it. We all have our favorites inside of GP. Feel free to use them. So the first one I wanted to actually go through is I'm going to go through some inquiries that can help you out in your day-to-day life. I'm sure we're all used to our transaction by customer and transaction by document where we can see what each customer is doing. Sometimes that's great. We do want to go through by customer. But other times we might actually want to see it from a different angle. We might want to see it from the sales items backwards. Okay, so you'll have this nice little inquiry called sales items. Okay, and you can actually see it from a range of accounts or one item in particular. You can see how many orders it might be on that are unposted, and you can see what its history may have been, how many times you've sold it. Okay, so these are the invoices my 100 XLG green phone has been on. Okay, you can print them as well, and you can see the cost that it's come through. I find this is really handy if this is an item that you're not used to selling, or maybe you just kind of want to take a peek at what you've historically sold this item at, and maybe what customers, just to give you a little bit of an idea, or even just to see maybe if you have customers that might come in and say, I want the same thing that my parent company had. Can you help me out? I know for sure they bought this item. So you can go from the item backwards. It's a really handy inquiry. Okay. You can also do a range of items, and you can also choose your sort by inside of here as well. You can do it by document date or by customers, have it naturally grouped by customers, whatever makes more for you. There's also this handy part here that if you don't want to include some things, you can exclude things like returns, back orders, stuff like that. Okay. So take a peek at this inquiry if you have a chance. I found it very helpful in my past lives. Okay. If you're using sales process order holds, now we talked about this I think 2 weeks ago in our Training Tuesday about you can actually use your process hold in your navigation list and go through there. You have one other way as well, is you can actually look up at it by the holds. Okay. And you can actually see, in history, all the times that this process hold has been used. See, every time that this process has been used, assigned, or removed in unposted or history, and you can actually go take a peek at all your holds as general. If you maybe have a holds review maybe once a week or once a day, this inquiry can help you out. You can, of course, print all of your inquiries as well. It's just there to help you out instead of trying to go to a smart list, especially if you're on a phone or somebody's sitting there staring at you. Well, I guess we're doing social distancing, so someone's not going to be sitting there staring at you. But if they're looking for some information quickly, this is a quick, nice, and easy way to get in and see what process holds you might actually have out there on documents. So it can help you help your customer get that information out, or maybe to get whatever you need to from your sales process holds. Okay? You always have those inquiries available to you. My other favorite one is if you're using serial and lots, you can also go through the serial and lots from the sales side backwards, okay? Don't necessarily have to do it from the inventory serial lot lookup. Don't get me wrong, I love the inventory serial lot lookup. It has its place. It will show you absolutely everything that's ever happened to that lot, right? Purchasing, inventory adjustments. If you just want to look at the sales lot side, so let's say you have an issue with one of your lots, and you actually want to see who you sold all that lots to, this is a nice quick inquiry to help you find out that information, just in case you maybe have to issue out another part for that lot or maybe do a recall on that lot. This can help you from the sales side just to see what document numbers that lot number went out on and which customers, just to give you that nice consolidated list of which customers you need to contact or maybe do any further actions that are required from your lots. Okay, it's just a nice and quick and dirty way. Of course, you can still get this information out of the inventory inquiry, out of this smart list, or any other reporting you may have on it, whether you're using Crystal or SSRS, those will all still work as well. This is just a nice, quick, and dirty way to get inside of there, okay? This is a fairly new one, which is your sales all-in-one view. This actually came out in GP 2015 R2, okay? This will actually show you everything under the sun for a particular customer, what's going on with them. So if you wanted a quick little blip of what's going on with the customer, you can see all their quotes, their orders, their invoices, their cash receipts, and their credit returns or credits. Okay, so you can see it all going in here at one, and you actually have some options as well of how much you want to see. Okay, so this is a nice all-in-one view. So if you want a quick snapshot of your customers at one time, this sales all-in-one view is great. If you happen to be someone who works on both sides, both sales and purchasing, this all-in-one view is also on the purchasing side as well. Sorry. Sorry about that. I have children who decide to open my garage door over and over and over again. It is the joys of working from home. All right. So once you have those inquiries, there's some other ways to get some great information. So I know we're all probably used to our reports that we're running our trial balance. There's some great ones inside of your activity as well. Okay. So inside of here, you can also have your open orders, right? So you can actually see every open order you currently have inside your system. Now, these are our traditional GP reports where they have your text, and there's a lot of information on here. You may not want to see all of this information like this. There's some great ways to actually go and see that in your SSRS, or what we call reporting services reports, okay? These are core to GP. If you don't see them, you may just not have them installed or may not have the security to do it. But almost every report that you find inside this reports tab does exist inside of reporting services. Now I'm saying almost all of them, okay? There are a couple that are not there yet, but I'm sure Microsoft will add them at some point. Of course, if there's ever a core report you don't see, you can contact us, or if there's ever a feature you don't see and you think GP should start, Microsoft is actually really good at listening to customer and partner feedback. There actually is a website listing where you can put your comments and your feedback in there, and they put that in, they take that into consideration for their next versions, their next hot packs, all kinds of stuff like that, okay? So I'm just going to hop into reporting services reports. As you know, you have a ton in here. You can create custom ones as well, but these are, I just have the core GP ones in here right now. So the first one is a nice and handy one if you're actually ever going through an audit, or you have someone from accounting that may be asking you, which accounts are we hitting when we actually do our sales transactions? Oops, my scroll here decided to go a little funky on me. We actually have the option here to do our historical distribution report, and I've actually pulled it up on the other screen here just so we didn't have to wait for it to load. Okay, and you can actually see it a little bit backwards. You can actually see it from the item going backwards. So if you can see, if anyone necessarily asks you, how much have we sold for that item, or how well is that item doing, or maybe to help you with your planning, is you actually have this report here called our SOP Inventory Sales Report, and allows you to see from your item number backwards. And of course, from one period to another, so you could do this monthly, yearly, quarterly, whatever your case may be, because you get to choose the filters on the top. You could also look at particular items. Right now I have it set to all items. I just want to take a peek of what we're looking at. So it gives me the information of what customer ordered it, how many did they order, and what price did we sell it to them for. Okay, so this can give you a lot of information for your future planning of maybe purchasing for sales, or maybe finding out if you're doing some negotiation with your customers, or even doing a yearly customer review if that's what you guys do inside your business. You can take a peek of what the customers may have been purchasing, okay, from the inventory item backwards. Of course, like all SSRS reports, you can export them with the little floppy disk, which you might make me laugh and say there's no such thing as a floppy disk anymore. I actually found one the other day. You can put it out into Excel or CSV or XML, whatever is best suited for you. I typically put it in Excel or CSV because I love Excel. But of course you have that report to use. This is a real handy one if you decide to do that. Okay. The other one, if you pop back in here, is actually our sales document status. Okay. That sales document status, which is actually just up here for us, our sales document status allows us to look at, all of our open SOP right now and see where they currently are. Okay. Now we can filter that out by certain statuses, all statuses, whatever you like. So you can see new or release or sent to back order, whatever the case may be. You can take a holistic view of all your orders in the system at once and start slicing and dicing just to help plan maybe how you're going to pick those sales orders, or maybe even if you're running on a shortage of items, which I know we've all kind of gone through a little bit lately, is if you have a shortage of items, you can start planning out efficiently who you might be giving those items to, or maybe who you might be back ordering. Okay, so this gives you that big, nice, large view of what customers are there or not. Of course, this is an SSRS report, so you do have those export options, or you can print or leave it in the screen, whatever your case may be. Now you'll notice I've also told it not to display serial lots. If you are a heavy user of serial lot numbers, please go ahead and hit yes. It will display that information if you would like. Okay? So you'll always have that information there. Now, the other thing as well that I wanted to take a quick peek at is you actually have your sales line item detail. Okay? So if you have very large orders from a customer, you can actually take a peek at all the lines at once and take that information out and see all that information. You can have that sales item detail, okay? Could be your unit price you're looking for or the quantities, whichever the case may be. I find this particularly helpful when you have sales invoices or quotes that are very large. They have a lot of line items, okay? They're some of my favorite ones inside of there. Now, of course, I do highly suggest that if you want to take a peek inside of your SSRS reporting, there's some great ones in here, okay? GP also has this fun part as well, so you can actually go your top items by sales amounts, okay? So top items in the last 30 days. Oops, I got to change my date here. 2027, and let's make this April 30th. And of course, you can adjust the amount of days, but you can actually see which items have been your top performing items, either over 30 days or 120 days, depending how much you want to see this, okay? And you can actually take a couple different ways in this chart. You can see a line chart or a column chart, whatever makes you happy. And you could actually say, you know what? Oops. Give me the top 50 items that I'm selling. Okay? So now here are my top items that I've been selling over the last 30 days. It just gives you that nice visual of what you might be selling over the last 30 days, especially in these times where we have some very heavy hitter items and maybe your sales have changed a little bit since the pandemic have hit. But either way, it's a really nice tool to help you figure out which one of your items are the ones that are selling the most. Okay. Along with top items, GP also has some default reports that are for your top customers by balances, top customer year-to-date sales. Okay, they will help you do your top customer balances. All that information is inside of here just to help you do that reporting inside of there. Okay. I do suggest you go take a peek inside of here. There's some really great information inside. Okay. On that note, some old but goodie tricks inside of GP is, if you've joined us in some other previous sessions, you've also seen these navigation lists. These navigation lists can be very helpful. They are interactive lists that allow you to do things like place hold on customers, do mass printings, all that kind of information as well. And it actually has reports inside of here. You can print them as well if you'd like. You can print these reports if you choose to, okay? So you have it for the receivables transaction. You also have it for sales order transaction as well, okay? So if you're a heavy SOP user, which stands for sales order processing, you can use them as well, okay? Of course, you always have the option to add filters if you choose to kind of lessen that information so you're not looking at a bulk load of information at once that might make your head spin or do a lot of clicking. You don't want to have extra strain, okay? So we definitely have those options inside of there. Now, my oldie but goodie trick is always going to be SmartList. It is, I like to use it as my own personal Google inside of GP. It allows us to actually drill into a piece of information and do ad hoc reporting, okay? Of course, we know we can see our customers and our sales lines and our sales transactions, okay? There's always some information of, that's great, I can see all these sales transactions, but accounting wants to know, how did it hit my GL and where did it hit my GL? You might actually struggle to find that information inside of sales. You'll have a hard time trying to get that information for your distributions. There's a quick and easy trick in here. If you actually go to your financial and you go to account transactions, if you add a couple key fields, you can see that information from the GL backwards. So I'm actually going to hop into our columns here, and I'm going to add a few key reports, Q-feed columns, actually, sorry, which is our originating doc number. Okay, so that allows us to pull the sales transaction number, the originating master ID, which will be our customer ID, our originating master name, which is our customer name, okay? And I actually like to see originating transaction source and type. You'll see that I have a whole whack load of information out. And I'm actually going to search this down a little further. I'm going to say my series is actually going to be sales. Okay, so now we can actually see that transaction from the GL backwards. We can see exactly how it hit the GL. So if I was to look at my, if I was to look at my sales 11002, which is just the receivables transaction entry, okay, you can see that this is how it hit my transaction. Here's my journal entry number, here's all the accounts it went to, and its debits and credits, just to help us out. And you can actually tell this is actually quite a large transaction that's going inside of here. Of course, you could put more filter options on this. You could say between months, between documents. A nice little handy trick if you're using SmartLists, if you're a heavy user of SmartLists, if you don't see the column that you're looking for, go ahead and hit that blue column at the top there and flip it to all columns, you will be able to see anything that you want that's available to you. And then you can start saying, okay, show me between this invoice number and that invoice number just by selecting the originating document number. Or you could even do from this customer to this customer, whatever the case may be. Now, if you want to do from customer to customer, if you remember, it's called our originating master ID. This will let you go from the GL backwards inside of GP. That's one of GP's greatest strengths, is you can actually go from the subledger backwards and from the GL backwards. So you can go backwards and forwards between going from the subledger to the GL or the GL to the subledger. Remember, they are very tightly tied inside of GP. Okay, so if you are looking for that report or that quick data dump of how are these sales transactions hitting my GLs, or what accounts are they going to, don't be hesitant to not go into financial and go to account transactions and add in those key columns just to give you that information. So just as a recap of those columns, it's originating doc number, master ID, and master name. Okay, that'll give you your key information as to what customer did it, what sales transactions, so on and so on. Okay. Now, I'm just going to hop back into sales here. I know I said I wouldn't take any detours out of sales, but it is a goodie trick in there. If you've ever used your sales line items, okay, you might say, I just want to know what the distribution accounts are from just the lines. Okay, because if you remember inside of GP, when you do a sale, the distributions actually come from the line item itself, okay? So it actually comes from the distributions on the line, and we're actually going to end up using these accounts. You can pull these accounts inside of SmartList as well. They're just a little hidden on you. So if you've ever come into your sales lines transactions, it's actually inside your columns. Oops. And let's go to pop down to inventory here. Oops, too far. So you'll notice that you have your inventory account number, inventory offset, inventory returns. All of these account numbers that you see on the line, you can actually add to your smart list here, and you can see what the inventory account number is for that line and help you to figure out which GL numbers it's going to go to. Okay? If you are an avid user of Smart List Builder or Smart List Designer, and you want to get very complex and you want to have lots and lots of details, is you can actually merge this list with your list that we made inside of financial by going into your modify button. And what your I actually have Smart List Builder installed in here, but if you're using Smart List Designer, you can do the same thing. What your join is going to be on your originating document number and, of course, your soft number on this side. So you can join both of those tables together to get all that information. What is my line information? What's my serial lot? And what is my end journal entry actually hitting to do? So you can do that inside of SmartList as well. Okay, you'll have all that information to you. Whether you use E1 Smart List Builder or you use Core GP's Smart List Designer, they will both do it for you, okay? And of course, if you have any questions on how to do that, feel free to reach out to support or maybe support at Endeavour. Okay, we can help you out with that one, all right? So these were my tips and tricks for this week. I know we have about 5 minutes left, and Scott might yell at me if I go over time, so I do like to open it up to the floor if there's any questions out there, and Scott will help me out. Again, like usual, to help me out if there's any questions on the floor. And I'm actually going to turn it over to Scott for him to help me out here.
So for those that are new to Endeavour, we've been in business for over 30 years now, supporting Microsoft Dynamics GT, and have more recently added on Business Central and Dynamics Nav. Continuing with our Dynamics 365 CRM practice with sales, customer service, membership management, and project service automation, as well as all of the Office 365, now called Microsoft 365 and Azure. Ongoing optimization and support, as well as advisory services complementing our implementation and upgrade efforts. For next steps, if you do need additional small projects or larger projects, we'll want to talk about your next Dynamics GP upgrade. You can reach out to Trish, James, or Steve, or if you are new to Endeavour, we'd love to earn your business. So with that said, thanks very much. Have a wonderful day. And let's look at some questions. Brittany, I think you've dazzled everyone. I don't see any questions coming in.
Oh, I think that's my first through all of our webinar Tuesdays.
I really enjoyed the Sales All-in-One. I know when that first came out, we are having mixed reviews, but it seems to be a nice one where it shows everything together. And for certain individuals that wanted to see that high-level view and quick pops in and out of the details, I think it'd be a great one.
It is nice and handy, the all-in-one, especially if you're processing orders. I find the other one that's very handy for those who are doing a very holistic view is to see which one of your items are moving the most in sales. It kind of allows you to do those yearly reviews with your customers, see what's going on, see what items are selling, and maybe see what items you're not serving your market with.
Great. And I think Laura's going to be building some similar reports and dashboards. They're going to have some of those similar answers and storylines in Power BI. So that's our training Tuesday next week. It's going to be Power BI. We're opening it up so it appeals to the CRM Business Central audiences as well. But I believe it's going to be GP sample data using Fabricam. So those on the line that are interested, feel free to join us next Tuesday.
Nice.
Okay. Well, I don't see anything else coming in. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate you joining us for our Training Tuesday and hope to see you at one of our future events.